Welcome to OJ Studios. Please enjoy this week's short story, The Body Snatcher. Chapter 1. My life up to this point was pretty normal, well as normal as a widower in his late 60s can be. I worked a nice full-time job as a cashier at a local gas station and kept mostly to myself. My late wife and I never had any kids, so I now had no family to talk to and no children to pass down my stories to. Instead, to break my loneliness, I started volunteering to watch my next-door neighbor's kids when she wanted to go out. Their mother, Rhea, worked 2 jobs, and whenever she had a day off she normally didn't have enough money to hire a babysitter, so I donate my time. Jackie, age 9, was the oldest of the 2 girls and way more mature than most of the adults I knew. She always wore either a skirt or dress, and she always made sure that her brunette hair was brushed out correctly. She was always nice and always loved to listen to my stories of when I was a kid. She always asked me questions about how things used to be, and I would enjoy showing her photo books of my youth and the old things I used to do at the farm where I grew up. Alex, age 5, was the complete opposite of Jackie. Alex didn't want to listen to stories or listen at all. Her clothes were always dirty from rolling around outside, and her blonde hair was always messy and unkempt. The only thing that kept her quiet and still for long periods was her already cracked iPad that she had gotten for her birthday a month ago. It was a normal Saturday afternoon when the 2 kids came over while their mother went shopping. I greeted them both inside and gave them each 2 homemade chocolate chip cookies. Alex devoured hers while Jackie slowly took her time. Today Jackie was wearing a black dress with white tights and a pair of Mary Jane shoes, while her sister wore a light blue shirt with light blue pajama pants and tennis shoes, apparently because she had refused to get out of bed this morning. Once Alex was down to her last cookie, I broke the silence. "So what do you girls want to do today?" I asked, getting up from the table. Both girls shrugged and looked out the window at the pouring down rain. "I'm just gonna go play," Alex said, grabbing her iPad from off of the table. I watched as Alex left the kitchen as her iPad began to light up. "What do you want to do, Mr. Webb?" Jackie asked, sitting politely. "I don't know," I admitted. "Wanna go to the game closet and see if you can't find a game to play?" Jackie shot out of the chair with a huge smile and went running off to the spare bedroom where I kept some old board games. While I waited, I picked up both their plates and put them in the sink to be washed later. I also peeked into the living room where Alex was laying on the couch with her shoes still on. I rolled my eyes and returned to the kitchen where Jackie was already back with a box behind her back. "Alright, what did you find for us this time?" I asked. "Guess," she said, smiling. "Oh, is it sorry?" I asked, but she shook her head no. "Is it trouble?" But she still shook her head no. "I give up, what is it?" I asked. Jackie quickly took the box out from behind her and set it on the table. "A puzzle," she said, grinning. I smiled. I had told her last week that puzzles were my favorite thing to do when there was a rainy day when I was a kid. The box on the puzzle showed a picture of a small orange kitten sitting next to a Dalmatian puppy. "Can we put it together?" Jackie asked. "Of course we can," I said before going back into the living room again. "Alex, do you want to put together a puzzle?" I asked. Alex only replied back with a grunt and a wave of the hand. I shrugged and went back into the kitchen where Jackie had already opened the box of puzzle pieces and was already trying to find all of the edge pieces. I sat down across from her and adjusted my glasses so I could see the pieces better. After an hour of working on the puzzle and talking about my old prom date, who just happened to be Jackie's 4th grade teacher now. "I do feel old," I said as I remembered back to the good old days. If only I could be young again and could make more memories. Jackie stopped me and came around the table to me. "Mr. Webb, I want to give you something," she said. I leaned down to look her eye to eye, wondering what she even had to give me. She placed her right hand on my face and started chanting a little bit. I looked at her, curious of what she was doing, but soon my eyes felt heavy and I could feel them shut as I also felt a pulling sensation. Chapter 2. I quickly opened my eyes only to find myself not in the same position I was in. I backed up, afraid of what was happening, as I realized that the person in front of me was, okay, this might seem a little weird and you might be thinking that I'm a little crazy. But the person in front of me was, me. "What did you do to me, Jackie?" I asked, but then stopped. The voice coming out of my mouth wasn't my own, instead it sounded more like Jackie's voice. "Look down," I or whoever was controlling my body said. I looked down at my feet and saw that I was wearing the white tights and the Mary Janes that Jackie had been wearing. Plus a little above my knees I could see the black dress wrapped around my legs. I looked up frightened as I looked around at my surroundings that was now 2 feet bigger than they were 10 seconds ago. "Neat, ain't it?" my body said, getting up from the table. "Oh, don't worry, Mr. Webb, I'm the one who took your body, but I did it for a reason," my voice said. "You better give me back my body," I yelled, but my body just shook his head no. "Don't worry, Mr. Webb, I'm still the same Jackie that you know," my body, who was apparently really Jackie, said. "Well, sort of," she said, looking down at her/my feet. "How did you do this?" I asked, pulling the dress up a little bit. "Well, it's a long story, but to make it simple, I'm a body snatcher." I raised an eyebrow as I thought about what she had told me. "You're a what now?" I asked. Jackie laughed a little bit. "I'm not from your world, or even from your galaxy," she said. "I came here over 5,000 Earth years ago to study human evolution. In my natural state I have no body or physical form, so I swap bodies with humans so I can learn from people with other points of views." "How?" I asked, disbelieving her story. "Well, Jackie," she said before stopping with a smile, "yes, and you better get used to that name too, because it's yours for a very long time. Anyways, the actually way I do it is gross, and trust me, I don't want to explain it, but for the most part I simply swap my old body with another one. The person I just swapped with gets a new body and I'm free to experience another life." "So where's the real Jackie at?" I asked. My body just smiled as he walked over to the window that faced her house. "Back in 2007 I was Ria's date to the prom. She was just a junior and I was a senior, about ready to leave for college. She was more mature than I was, and I was already thinking about swapping our bodies, since all she talked about was leaving the small town behind and going to the state university. When she told me that she was pregnant with her ex's baby, she told me that her life was over and that she couldn't stand the thought of never being able to live out her dream of being a doctor. So I took pity on her and decided to tell her who I was really, and she agreed to swap bodies with me, and I ended up giving birth a few months later to Jackie." "That didn't answer my question," I said, with my arms folded across my chest. "Well, a year ago I was still in Ria's body and Jackie was throwing a fit, saying how much she wished that she was older. So I made that happen for her. I became a little 8-year-old girl while Jackie had to learn how to cook, clean and keep her job all at the same time." "So Ria is really Jackie?" I asked in shock. "Yup, you can ask her yourself when she gets back." "Why did you pick my body for?" I asked. "Because I enjoy hearing your old stories, it reminds me of the old days too, and now I'm giving you a chance to get new stories, but now as a girl." "So what do I call you?" I asked. "Mr. Webb, of course," he said with a laugh. The body snatcher got up from the table and checked his watch. "Speaking of your mother, Jackie, she should be getting you soon. We can talk more next time you come to visit, for right now feel free, enjoy your new younger body." Chapter 3. 1 year later. I stood outside the house as I watched Mr. Webb's belongings get loaded up in a moving van. A month ago Mr. Webb told us that he was ready to retire and go off to a retirement village in Florida. I just stood there watching as my old body climbed into my old car, and with a wave he took off down the road. I watched as he turned the corner of our street, and I silently said a goodbye to my old body as it zoomed off with the other cars that were on Main Street. I couldn't help but wonder if I would ever meet the body snatcher again, or if he or she was just gone forever. I just stood there and wondered until I could feel my mother's hand on my shoulders as she led me and my sister Alex back into our small little house. I walked in my room, where I sat down on my bed. It was still how it looked a year ago, with me not able to redecorate it. With Ria's advice I learned how to be a girl and how to adjust to being in a new body. After all, she had gone through the same thing herself. Looking in the mirror still surprised me. Instead of my old self I looked like a little girl, one that was wearing a blue dress and silver flats. I looked away and instead flopped onto my bed and looked next to me. In between a poster of a boy band and a poster of Gabby Douglas was a small glued together puzzle of a small orange kitten next to a Dalmatian puppy given to me by Mr. Webb himself. The end.